Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Today with us in the studio we have our very own barrister, Mekini Fineface Amadi. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you here with us, sir. So our stories that we have for today, starting with the first one that we have, it says the Federal Ministry of Health has ordered an immediate disengagement of directors who have spent at least 8 years in the directorates there with immediate effect, including those in the federal hospitals, agencies, among others, following a new deadline set through the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation. This is coming after in July 2023, the former head of Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemi Esan, declared the commencement of the revised public service rules. Speaking at a lecture at the State House, Abuja, to mark the 2023 Civil Service Week, Yemi Esan stated that the revised PSR took effect from July 27, 2023. The head of services issued a circular addressed to permanent secretaries, the Accountant General of the Federation, the Auditor General for the Federation, and heads of extra ministerial departments, informing them of the revised rules. According to Section 020909 of the revised PSR, I beg your pardon, the tenure limit for permanent secretaries is 4 years, with a possible renewal based on only satisfactory performance, while the rules also stipulate that a director GL17 or their equivalent shall compulsorily retire after 8 years in that position. I would love to ask Barrister Fineface, how will this order by the Federal Ministry of Health, affect services in, federal hospitals and health agencies? Or what's your take on the story generally?
Okay, thank you. To me, I don't think it will have any negative impact on the health sector, in saying that before the commencement of that rule, they may have or they must have made arrangements for the replacement of this pen sets. So on that note, I don't think it will have any negative effect.
All right, thank you very much. But why is the government enforcing the retirement rule now, years after it was introduced by the former, head of service? Why are they enforcing it now? Is there a reason why they're enforcing it now? Is it necessary or is it relevant?
Yeah, one thing I know and I can tell is that every law has a commencement period. We never can tell if this is the period which that was stipulated for the law to take effect. So that the law was made a long time ago, doesn't really mean that it becomes that period. If the commencement period is stated to be this period that they are not trying to execute it. So I think it really has nothing to do with the implication if they made a law a long time ago. Because
all right,
if the current period is the commencement period for the law, then there's nothing wrong about that.
Oh, okay, sir. So, does the office of the head of civil service of the Federation have enough people ready, to replace those those retiring without causing problems? Do you think they have enough?
I said, if this process and they will have made arrangements for persons to take over those offices. So if that is the case, I think it will cause a problem.
Okay. Thank you so much for your contribution on that story. So the next story that we have is that of former Kaduna State Governor Nasser El-Rufai, who was detained at the headquarters of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in Abuja on Monday night after hours of interrogation over an alleged 432 billion naira corruption probes. El-Rufai, a chieftain of the African Democratic Congress, is also expected to face criminal prosecution over the alleged bugging of the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribada's phone. This is coming after the former governor, who arrived at the commission's Jabi headquarters around 10 a.m. in response to an invitation, was grilled over allegations arising from the 2024 report of the Kaduna State House of Assembly, which accused his administration of misappropriating loans, violating due process in contract awards, and plunging the state into heavy debt. The EFCC spokesman, Dele Oyewale, said that the former governor honored the commission's invitation, but declined further comments on the nature of the interrogation or the next line of action. And the detention marks a dramatic escalation in the legal troubles confronting the outspoken former minister of the Federal Capital Territory, whose recent public criticism of the federal government and security agencies has triggered fresh political tensions. Now, I would love to ask, now that Nasser El-Rufai has been detained by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, does this show that powerful politicians can really be held accountable?
I think that there's no competition if the law is allowed to take its course. If the government wants to do the right thing, there is no single individual who is more powerful than the Nigerian. But what happens when the government is playing politics? So you now see some and make be powerful. But longer time in this situation, I don't think it's about the allegation of money laundering, misappropriation of public funds when he was the government, because this petition had been made long ago, and I don't think that investigating that petition will take the EFCC this long to arrive to this period, just because he has come up with dissecting voices against the ruling government or party. So to me, I don't see it as anything different from what has been happening in the system, with hunting those voices that want to speak against them or those who are standing against the impunity of the government. That's what I see.
Okay, sir. So, how strong are the claims from the Kaduna State, House of Assembly, and is there enough evidence to, or enough proof rather, to take this case to court?
Well, that they will have to make prove their case in the court. It is in the court that they will provide all their evidences and their proofs to convict Nasser El-Rufai. And if they don't have the enough proof to convict him, he will still go home, because right now the constitution see him as an innocent citizen. Yeah.
Now, the whole story of him tapping into the phone of the National Security Advisor, do you think this is going to cause more problems, like bigger political or security issue for the government?
No, I am not looking at the crisis statements we call, because if there will be any crisis, it will have been heard all over the country. What I think Nigerians should be thinking about is what is the National Security Advisor doing with such a chemical? What is it doing with thallium? If the claim of El-Rufai is correct, we should be asking what is he doing with such an element, and not the tapping. Well, he has been taken to court. They will make their presentations. They will bring their proofs that he actually tapped their phone, the phone of NSA. And if their proof is coded enough, the court will convict him. But if it's not, like I said, he will still go scot-free. It's not about he tapped our phone, he tapped my recording. He made a statement that it was tapped or whatever. It's about proof. Do they have cogent proof? Have they carried out their investigation? Have their facts? Those are the questions to be answered.
All right. Thank you very much for your contributions on these stories. We will go on a short break now, and when we return, we'll continue with the rest of the stories. Please stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. And now to the rest of our stories. Nigerian police force has come under fire after its operatives allegedly fired tear gas at protesters who stormed the National Assembly on Tuesday, demanding the mandatory inclusion of real-time electronic transmission of election results in the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2026. The demonstrators who returned to the National Assembly complex after a 5-day break had earlier suspended their protests following assurances given during last Tuesday's sitting. This is coming after the Senate had reconvened for an emergency plenary session last Tuesday to revisit its controversial decision on Clause 60, Paragraph 3 of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill after widespread public outcry. Protesters on Tuesday returned to the National Assembly complex for the second consecutive day, intensifying calls for real-time transmission of election results from polling units to the Independent National Electoral Commission's IREV portal. Protesters were heard chanting, "We no go gree, we no go gree, Akpabio passed the bill," as demonstrators gathered at the entrance of the National Assembly complex in Abuja. The demonstrators also carried placards bearing strong messages including "Don't alter the bill, pass it," and "Rigging election is a coup," alongside other inscriptions. The chants were directed at Senate President Godswill Akpabio as demonstrators urged the leadership of the National Assembly to prioritize the bill. I would love to ask Barrister Fineface, the response of the Nigerian police on this story, the response of the Nigerian police force to protesters at, the National Assembly of Nigeria, did it amount to excessive force, or would you say that it is justified for security reasons?
Well, I would say that it does not justify any security reason because the protest isn't a violent one and therefore does not call for tear gassing protesters. First and foremost, protest is the right of every Nigerian. Every Nigerian has the right to protest, to speak out. So if Nigeria wants a better democracy and the only way they can achieve it is protest, is that not the right thing to do? Why should police tear gas them? I have always asked myself, why is it that the police has always jettisoned the idea of professionalism to do whatever they want to do, like to pass touts?
Yeah.
So to me, it's for no security reasons. The police just did what they are used to and what they know how to do better.
Okay, so why do you think, why are citizens insisting on real-time transmission of, election results? Do you think this would affect trust in future elections?
It's simple. It's simple. It calls the means of rigging in election. It's simple. The citizens want our democracy to thrive. And how do we do our democracy thrive? By having a fair, credible election. Where elections are rigged and persons are rigged into office, is that democracy? So it's simple. The citizen wants our democracy to thrive. They want our democracy to be like that of other nations. Nothing more.
Thank you very much. So my last question on this story would be, with protesters now directly calling on, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio to act, will the National Assembly leadership per se amend or pass the bill to reflect public demands?
Well, it's unfortunate. The senators, Mr. President, what's his name? The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio and his colleagues, they have passed the bill already. So if there will be any amendment, I think it will be in the next 4 days.
Okay.
The President has assented. We have it on the news that the bill has been passed and the President has assented. So there's nothing that could learn about it again until when next they think they want to revisit it. But currently for this 2027 election, 2026-2027 election, I don't think anything will be done about that electoral act again.
All right, so moving on to the last story that we have, it says West African Examinations Council (WAEC) has declared the full implementation of its digital certificate services system, WAEC DigiCert, across its 5 member countries. A statement by the head of public affairs, WAEC headquarters Accra, Ghana, Damienus Ojigiogu, on behalf of the registrar, said the member countries are Gambia, Ghana, Liberia, Nigeria, and Sierra Leone. And the Digital Certificate Services platform is a mobile and web-based application designed to provide stakeholders with seamless access to digital versions of original certificates. He also said users could also recover lost WAEC examination numbers through the system while enjoying guaranteed authenticity and significant cost benefits. He also assured that the innovation would not disrupt the printing and issuance of physical certificates, while urging the public to download the mobile application or visit its official website and social media platforms for further information. So my question is, how will the new digital certificate from the West African Examinations Council make it easier for students to get or replace their results?
Well, one thing I can say is how, but I think that innovations come with benefits, particularly digital innovations. The benefits from every innovations from digitally or technologically. So if WAEC has decided to innovate or introduce innovations into its operations, I think it's a welcome idea. But the thing is, do we have the facilities to enjoy this innovation as a country, Nigeria, leaving out other countries that undertakes WAEC, because I can't really tell about that technological system. But that of Nigeria, do we have the technology to maintain this innovation? Those are questions we should ask and answer. But if it were to be for the innovations, I believe that yes, there are benefits to tap or to get from it.
But don't you think that there are
what I can tell you is
okay, but don't you think there are problems that certain people will face using this this system, especially those without smartphones or good internet access? How do they cope with this?
This is why I said, do we have the facilities? Because average Nigerian does not have the facility to enjoy an internet service. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah, I do.
Most of the students in our universities and secondary school do not have access to internet. So, or let me bring it down to secondary school. Let me leave out the university. Most Nigerian students in secondary school do not have access to internet. So how do they enjoy this innovation? These are the questions I just asked. So it's obvious that so many will benefit from it. It's obvious that so many this will occasion harm and like a tardiness to so many students out there who cannot afford those facilities. It's a welcoming innovation, but then things ought to be done for those persons who the innovations were meant for them to benefit from it. Even with introducing a computer-based system, providing a means of these students accessing this app or web page, they can do that. But an average Nigerian cannot afford a smartphone that can download that app. An average Nigerian student cannot afford a computer system that can enjoy that facility. So it becomes a problem to some of those persons who cannot afford it.
Thank you very much, sir. So the last question that I would love to ask for the story is, will employers, and schools accept this digital certificate the same way that they accept the paper one?
Well, they say the only thing that is permanent is change. If that is the recent, you have no option but to act.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution on that story. We've had an amazing time today, but this is where we wrap it up on this edition of Government and Public Service Report on Atlantic Television Network in the city of Port Harcourt. Once again, I want to say thank you, Barrister Fineface, for joining us. We're so glad to have you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We don't take it for granted. We are open for advertisements, news and events coverage, personality, society and political interviews, product service promotion and commercials. Watch us live on www.atlanticnetwork.tv, Able TV channel 205, Limix TV platform, Everstick platform, Apple TV, Niger TV, Iroko TV. Connect with us on ATN socials, subscribe, like and share. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1 on Twitter, now X, Atlantic TV Net. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Francis Necker.